G'day everybody and welcome back. A few weeks ago I built this drill bit and quite a few comments said, why didn't you make it through coolant? Which it can be done with this one really easy, just by putting two holes and on an angle and joining up with the centre hole. But then I got to thinking, on the mill, how can I run coolant down through the spindle without putting a collar on here and having the coolant coming in from the side on the actual bit itself. So I had to think about it, and I ran my idea past Barry, the fellow who done the plans for the boring and facing head. I told him what I wanted to do and what my rough idea was, and he kindly done up a set of plans for me. In this video I'm going to build the drawbar. I probably won't get it all finished. I'm going to have to build a distribution block as well, that I can either run air through it or coolant through it. Anyway, we'll get into the build and hopefully we can pull it off and it works. Rightio, the first part we're going to build of this is this rotator. This will house two bearings, two seals, and the fitting that the 10mm nylon line, or quick connect as we call them here, will be housed into. So 50mm diameter, 56mm long, with a couple of bores inside for the bearings and seals. Yeah, I'll set up a bore and bar and do that centre now. Okay, this first dimension is 34mm the entire length. Okay, our next dimension is 38mm for a length of 20.5. Right, yeah, this should bring us out to 38. Okay, it should be 38. Well, makes, well, should be very close to 38. I can just feel it grabbing there, 38.01, which is good. Okay, our next bore is at 44mm, 12.5mm long. That's where the bearing sits in the end. So the seal goes in first, then the bearing. Then there'll be a little dust cap that goes over, gets machined up to go over and shields the bearing from any crap. Okay, that should be 44. Just feel it touching there. Good enough. This has to have a 30-degree lead on there. Just got to break these two edges, chamfer on this end, part it off, turn it around and do all these same features on the opposite end. In theory, this bearing should fit in there. It's going to go, but I'm just not going to go in that fraction more just in case it gets stuck like it's going to. So if we know that's right. Right here, I'm going to part this off. It's about 1 millimetre over length. That couldn't have turned out any better. Okay, I've got to make this 56mm long, so set the boring bar up and make this end the same as the other end. So what this needs now is putting in the mill and then drilled and tapped hole for a fitting for the coolant to come in. I've just got to find the tap. I've got a tap here somewhere, I've just got to find it before I do that, but it might take a couple of days to find it in this joint. But overall that's not too bad. Yeah, this is a piece of 25mm 4140. That's all I could get. So look at this piece here. This has a thread in one end. The through hole goes through here and then it's where the rotator goes on. Has a hex on this end, as you can see here. 225mm long down to 22mm. The 21.99, 22.013, so it's only 0.2, basically the difference from end to end. It's not bad. That bearing should be a good fit. Okay, I just touched off, double checked the arrow. So for a distance of 24mm, has to come down to 21.9. And that'll be where the hex forms. 21.92. Okay, now I have to put a couple of circlip grooves into where these bearings, or to retain the rotator. There we go. Okay, they're done. Just got to deburr them now. Little needle file, just break the edge a little bit. Righty, I'm going to take this out now, turn it around, bring it to final length, and has to have hole drilled all the way up, made up into the centre here. So it's going to be interesting. And let's see if I can explain this properly. So from this shoulder here, 19mm back is where it finishes. That has to be turned down to 19mm. It has to have a M12 by 1.25, so a metric fine thread drilled into the end, or tapped into the end, and then there has to be a 4mm hole drilled 188mm up this rod. So $19.508. That'll do. It has to have a 12 by 1.25 thread put in there now. And that can be tapped. I'll tap that after I've drilled that long hole. So I'll start putting in that 4mm hole that is 188mm deep. Rightio, so I've just gone in with a standard drill. Now I'll go in with a long series drill, and then I've got a long reach drill after that. So that drill survived quite well, not chipped on the end or anything, so put a longer one in now. So this is the one I picked up, 300mm long, made by Sutton, got it from Total Tools, yeah, about 20 bucks to throw. So I'll mark 188mm or 190mm, and that'll when I hit that mark, we're at depth. There's the mark I have to go to. I'm just going to take my time. I'm not going to worry about filming all this. I'm just going to poke along nice and gentle and hopefully not have any disasters. So I'll bring us back when I'm getting close towards the end. Well, we got that one done with no real dramas. It actually didn't take very long at all. No damage to the drill either, which is pretty good. So what I need to do now is just chamfer this and tap the 12 by 1.25 thread, and then it needs a little cross hole drilling later on. I need a bigger chamfer bit, see how that one goes. I've got a brand new 12 by 1.25 tap. Let's see how we go with that. That worked well. Well, there's our shaft. All I've got to do is put a hex on this end and put a cross hole to match up with that centre 4mm hole, and then this piece is complete. Rightio, I've got it in a hex collar block. This will end up being a 3/4 hex, 15mm long. Yeah, I'm going to spin it over to the opposite side, and then I can see if I'm on target. There's a 3/4 spanner. That'll do. Just keep going around. Alright, this is a spanner I always use. Good enough. I'll have to go back in the lathe and just put a chamfer on them and just take them edges off very gently. Okay, what I've done is edge fanned off the end, come in 59mm, and found the centre. Now it has to have a 5mm hole drilled through there. That centre drill's is about as blunt as my ear. Oh, that was a sigh of relief. It actually lined up. Okay, so this component is complete. I just chamfered that end a fraction more and took the sharpness off the edge of the hex. Ran a bit of Scotch-Brite to make sure there's no burr over that. Circlip, they all fit and spin. So we got them right, threads in the end, and everything lined up, so pretty bloody stoked with that. Okay, so what I have here is a piece of 12mm rod that's 510 long. I've got the lathe spider on the back of the spindle and I've clocked it in so it's running true. This has to have a hole, 4mm hole drilled through the entire piece. Got to go from both ends, so drill as deep as I can with that long reach drill, turn it around, clock it back in again, and then hopefully they join up in the middle. Then there has to be a M12 by 1.75 thread on one end and an M12 by 1.25 thread on the other. So I'm probably not going to show you much of this drilling because it's the same as what you've seen in the previous piece, so I'll just get it done. It's going to take a long time. That's one side done, and that took roughly about 30 minutes, 35 minutes to put, to go through the 3 drills, so small, medium and large, if you want to call it that. So I've got to turn it around, I've got to clock it back in on the spider on the back of the spindle, and then repeat the process again. I've gone in with that shorter one, or both short ones, on the second side here. There's a red mark. I've got a red mark here. That's where I reckon I'm going to break in. When I get to there, to where I reckon I'm going to break into the first hole. And I'll bring you back when I'm about to, hopefully, join these 2 holes up together. It. Successfully through. What a mission. That all up, to drill that from both ends, all up took an hour and 20 minutes, which is not bad. Okay, I am set up to cut the 12 by 1.25 thread. Done a scratch pass, checked everything was right. Hope I don't screw up because it's the last corner of the insert I have. This one's done. I wasn't watching the camera, I was just threading away and I didn't realise the battery went flat. But we didn't miss a hell of a lot. It all screws up nice and tight. So I can turn that around now and put a M12 by 1.75 thread on the opposite end. Righto, we're ready to do the 12 by 1.75 thread now. First time I've had to cut a 12 by 1.75 thread since I done that video making the gears to be able to do this thread on this lathe. That's better. I think we're done. That's it. Bloody ripper. This over here should fit on a bit better too. And it does. Gotta be happy with that. So 12 by 1.75 that end and 12 by 1.25 that end. Okay, I've got a fitting here. I have to drill and tap for. I've got to form a flat as well. So I've edge found in both directions. Everything's zeroed. So I've got to come down, touch off, and then go another further 1mm deep. Okay, so that's out to 16mm wide. So I swap this all out now for drill chuck and drill and tap for 1/8 BSP. Bloody weather's not letting up here. So that turned out pretty good. So it's a good clean up. Then I've got to press the seals in, the bearings in, and there's two plates, or dust covers if you want to call them that. That I've got to make up. I may make them off camera, they're just plain turning. I discovered I'd made a mistake. What I'd done, this here is 12.5mm long, that's 8mm long. I had that around the wrong way. So this one here was 12.5 and this was 8. So I had to spin it back up in the lathe and just alter that. So back to where I started now. Push this other seal, and I pushed the seal in, and I'm lucky I got it out without damaging it. I couldn't work out what was going on, and then I realised that I'd screwed up, which is not unusual. Okay, I can put the bearings in now. They're in there. Okay, I have got the dust cap, if you want to call it that, finished off. So that slides over there, and circlip goes on. If I can get it to go on easy. That's it. she's on. That just stops anything that's sitting, you know, dust and crap going on the top, sitting on the bearing. Could have been just a fraction tighter on the bore, but it's only a dust cap. Anyway, it's on there, and a bit hard to see, but when you look down the porthole, the hole that is in this bar aligns perfectly with that, with the fitting. So everything looks right. All I've got to do now is Loctite this into these two parts together. Now I am expecting a little bit of wobble up the top, but oh, that's another bit I made up too, spacer. So this will help align it in the quill. So anyway, it's all trial and error. I'm going to Loctite this together now. It must be tight because it turned on the bloody, turned in the drawers, made them fairly tight. Anyway, it's on there. I'll let that go off, and then I'm going to have to, if it does have a wobble to it, I'll have to try and manipulate that out. Rightio, I've got it mounted up in the mill, and as suspected, it has got a little bit of wobble up the top, and I sort of can't do much about it, I don't think. That ring on the top, that just spins freely, that dust cap, so I'm not worried about that. I don't think it's going to hurt. Just going to see how it goes. Okay, what I'm going to do is dummy up a bit of air into this line just by shoving air gun up the end of the nylon hose and trial it out, see how we go. Bit of aluminium, and I've covered it in WD-40 so the chips really stay on there. They're not going to, you know, they'll clag up on there hopefully, and see how it goes. I'll say that wasn't a very good test, but not a bad finish actually. But you could see just a quick squirt blew the crap away. Not bad. So you get the gist of how that's going to work with just with air. Once I get a distribution block thing made up and I get coolant on this mill, it'll be a lot better. Be able to test it with coolant, but for the time being that won't be happening. Not until I get a coolant system. overall, I'm pretty happy with the way that's worked, just with air. Now this mill doesn't have coolant on it yet. I did have it on there and I took it off and put it back on the lathe because I only got one coolant set up. So at some stage I've got to make another one for this. But this was just an idea I had, and I haven't personally seen it on any other machines, manual machines like this. I've seen them when they've got them around the bottom here, but never through the top. So it was just a theory. I wanted to see if it would work, and so far it looks like it is going to work. But it was a good fun build anyway. So I spoke to Barry about the plans, and he's going to make them available as well. So if someone else wants to go down this same route, well, they can. I am going to make just a distribution type block that I just plug the air line in. It's got to have a tap on it, so I can have a constant stream of air if I want to, or just give it a quick squirt. And just got to find a place to mount that. I've got to build it and then mount it. So that's going to be it. I hope you've enjoyed it. I enjoyed building it. It was a challenge drilling that long hole. It's the longest one I've ever drilled, and I didn't think it was going to go that smooth. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and see you in the next video. Hooroo.